thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? Listen, guys, this could be a recipe for disaster. Hell could be actually on Earth here very, very soon. And yes, I've said this in the past and nothing really happened in regards to that situation. But I'm going to tell you guys this first off. It looks like there's going to be a protest here in the next few hours in regards to, well, it's going to be a group of people demanding that Shiloh Hendrix gets arrested and charged for saying what she said to a 5-year-old black kid at a playground. Now, if you don't know about the Shiloh Hendrix situation, I highly recommend you guys go and check out my live I did yesterday. We kind of did a broad stroke approach to the whole thing because this has been transpiring. Things have been popping off, y'all, and it's been absolutely insane. And it's been popping off quickly. So much that money is flying like crazy as well. And I'm going to get into that conversation here in just a second. But this woman by the name of Shiloh Hendrix, she was caught on camera calling a 5-year-old black kid, the N-word. She says the N-word several times in this video, and it's very, very bad. And yes, I get it. Some people feel like she had every right to say what she wanted to say. It's freedom of speech and all that. My response is this. First off, never call another child a derogatory or racial slur. That's number one. Numero uno. In fact, don't say to any person, adult or child, because there's a billion other words in the English language that you could use that aren't derogatory, that aren't racist, to get your point across. And she claims that this kid was rummaging through her diaper bag and she was trying to tell him to basically back off. She could have literally said, "Hey, kid, back off. What the heck is wrong with you?" She could have said that. "Hey, where's your dad? Or where's your parent? Why are you in my bag?" There's so many other things you could have said, but she didn't do that. She decided to resort to using the N-word instead, which, again, not good. No bueno, guys. I don't highly recommend it, especially when you are an adult, you are a grown-ass person, and you are a parent yourself. You have to lead by example. That's just what I truly believe. Be a good person out here. What is it? Do unto others as you wish that they would do unto you, right? Now, I'm not trying to bring in the Bible. I'm just saying that's kind of a hard fact, right? Treat people kindly, and hopefully they will return that kindness to you. But that's just me, though. I'm that kind of guy who's the half glass full type of guy. I look at things in a positive way. At least I try to, especially when the world is so dark and messed up and even more messed up as of late. Now, there has been a lot of people who have been feeling some type of way on the Shiloh Hendrix situation and the Carmelo Anthony situation. And a lot of them are saying that the reason why she's raising or has raised as much money as she has is solely as a retaliation of the money that Carmelo Anthony has raised. It has been a very interesting situation nonetheless. Some people are looking at this Shiloh Hendrix like she is the white Rosa Parks. I'm not kidding. I've seen that actually commented in the in the town square. People have been saying some crazy ass ish, and it's been wild. But one thing is for sure, I don't agree with her raising $1 million for saying the N-word. I don't agree with that at all. And I feel like any person that has ever been on the receiving end of that word would feel the same way to a certain extent. Now, I get it, sticks and stones, but at the same time, we should be better as a people. We should. And like I said, a billion other words in the English language that could be used to express your frustration towards somebody. I'm just saying, pick up a book, read a book, pick up a thesaurus, learn some new words. I don't know, but that's just me. But one thing is for sure, okay? Before we get into the conversation about this protest that's about to happen, yes, there's a protest where they are asking for Shiloh's arrest and for her to be charged for what she said to this kid. People are angry about her Give, Send, Go. Her Give, Send, Go has raised over $661,000. In fact, let me just refresh this really quick and see. It's gone up $600 since the taping of this video right now. 600. $61,000, $789 altogether. Crazy. Now, she's obviously aiming for $1 million hairs. Now, from my understanding, she was only going for a couple $1,000s in the very beginning, and she just keeps on moving the goalpost, right? She keeps on raising her dollar goal, and now it's at $1 million. And in my personal opinion, does she deserve $1 million for saying the N-word? Hell no. No. But that's just me. Clearly, the people are talking. Just because she has it out there, well, first off, she has her rights. She has a right to put that up there. Unless Give Send Go says, hey, we're going to shut it down because it's borderline fraudulent or whatever the hell they want to make it out to be. They could shut it down at any time, but they haven't. Why? Because she's not breaking any laws. She's not breaking any rules. So, of course, if it's her right, it's her right. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it. Damn right, I don't agree with that. I get it I get a couple $1,000 so that you can relocate or do whatever you need to do, get protection, blah, blah, blah. I get that. That's what these platforms are for. But $1 million for saying the N-word, that's a new one for me. We are living in the twilight zone, in my personal opinion. But of course, the people are trying to make their voices heard. People that feel some type of way about Carmelo Anthony raising money and them believing and thinking that it's not just for him to raise money. But here's the thing, though, too. Same situation on his side. He has every right to raise that money as long as it's not fraudulent, as long as they're not doing anything illegal with that money. They have every right to raise that money. Just because they can doesn't mean that we have to agree with it, right? So it's the same situation here, which is still, like I said, absolutely insane. All right? So insane that I feel like it's like Groundhog's Day in a way. And Groundhog's Day has already been and gone. We in May, baby. 6 weeks of extra winter has already passed, baby. And we're back at this whole thing all over again. Don't drive angry, though. Get it? Get it? Don't drive angry. Groundhog's Day. Never mind. But nonetheless, there's going to be another protest. But this one is for Shiloh Hendrix, against Shiloh Hendrix. This is for her arrest and charge of saying the N-word to a black kid, at a park, at a playground, to be more exact. So it says here, let's take a look at this flyer, which, like I said, this is crazy. This is wild, and this could be absolutely disastrous. This could be absolutely crazy, or it could be very, very mediocre at best. I'll explain here in a second. So it says, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Protect our children, arrest and charge. And of course, this is going to be an Olmsted County Government Center. And then everything starts around 1 p.m. today on Cinco de Mayo. So while you're getting your shots of tequila, you can go out there and protest on behalf, or to basically try to take down Shiloh Hendrix. Now, people are very upset. Like I said, people are upset about Shiloh Hendrix raising money. This is the same situation, like I said earlier, where people were upset about Carmelo Anthony making any type of money, raising any type of money for what he did in the Austin Metcalf case, which, of course, we still don't know everything yet, but we do know that Carmelo Anthony most definitely took that kid's life. That's without question. That's without question. But now we are still wondering if that is self-defense or not. If the evidence proves to show that this is self-defense, we don't know yet, and we're going to find out. But the court of public opinion wants to get their verdict out first, and a lot of people have spoken, and he's raised over $500,000 on his own account. Of course, there's people who feel some type of way about that as well. So there was a protest, and of course, that protest was dismal. It was minimal, all right? And that one was the whole protect white Americans from black violence and all that. And that was insane. So again, and I was like, oh man, I'm worried that it's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm worried that's going to be a really bad reaction. That there's going to be riots and there's going to be a full-on race war in the streets. Well, a few people got arrested, but the altercations were very small and very, as I said earlier, minimal at best. There was like 17 people at this protest. But this one, I don't know. This could be an absolute chaotic turnout, or this could be extremely peaceful or also minimal at best. But let's take a look at this. They have a what to expect and what their mission is for this. Okay, so let's take a look at this as well. Join us in demanding justice for the hate crimes occurring throughout our city. On April 30th, Shiloh Hendrix participated in hate crimes against an innocent child in Soldiers Field Park in Rochester, Minnesota. The video of the incident has circulated on the intranet. That's a new one, intranet, but moving on. And she has created a fundraising campaign for her quote-unquote safety. Again, she has a right to raise money. $1 million is a bit excessive. Do I agree with her raising the money? Not really. But at the same time, if she's been doxxed and she needs extra money for safety, then she needs to protect herself. I'm sorry. Just because I don't like the person or don't like what she said to that little kid, and I think that is deplorable and disgusting, does not mean that she doesn't deserve to be protected. She did not put her paws on that kid. She did not cause any violence on that kid. Does that make sense? So again, for her to be doxxed and harassed and all that, diggity damn, it's insane. So I get her wanting safety, but for $1 million, shoot, you ain't Michael Jackson. But moving on, these acts of hatred and blatant racism are happening far too frequently within our city, and we're demanding accountability for all who participate in these acts. Very nicely said. Internet threw me off a little bit, but it's fine. All throughout the internet, right? So Griot Arts will be open between 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for those who would like to create signs prior to the meeting at the Olmsted County Government Center. We will meet at the Government Center around 12 p.m. for the protest. Join us to demand justice and action for our city attorneys and leaders. The ask is very clear. Protect our children. Arrest and charge Shiloh Hendrix, hold her accountable for her actions. Now, here it is. It's still up in the air. Like, I guess it's still to question, can they actually arrest her for what she said to the child? I guess it is up to the parents of that child to press charges. Are they going to press charges? I don't know. But as far as a protest, sure, they have every right to make their voice heard. Just like that protect white Americans thing, I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with why they were out there at all. But that's their First Amendment right. That's their right as American citizens. So just because they can do it doesn't mean I have to agree with it, right? So when we look at something like this too, I'm interested to see what the demonstration is going to be all about. I hope it stays peaceful, just like I was hoping that the Protect White Americans protest would stay peaceful. It stayed peaceful for the most part. So I'm hoping that it's the same reaction here too. This may be an absolute recipe for absolute disaster, or this may be a cakewalk, and it may just be a few people out there making their voices heard. But you got to remember, there's always going to be an opposing side there as well. If people know about this protest that don't agree and think that Shiloh did nothing wrong, they're going to show up. And it all comes down to how the two worlds interact when they actually collide. Actually, I hope they don't actually collide. They just meet up and it stays peaceful. But nonetheless, this could very well be bad. It could. Because again, people are still riled up about Carmelo Anthony on both sides of the fence. And then now you got people even more riled up about the Shiloh Hendrix situation on both sides. And in fact, it seems like the people who are pro Shiloh are speaking out more, and their voice is getting stronger and stronger as she starts to make more and more money, or she starts to raise more and more money. So again, I'm hoping that it stays peaceful, as it should. But God only knows what's going to happen here in the next few hours. And if anything is popping off, you know for a fact, I'll keep an eye on it, and we will talk about it. But nonetheless, what are your thoughts on this situation? Do you agree with this? Do you think that they shouldn't be doing protests or not? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button, and we'll be talking very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another, please. let's start getting along again. Diggity damn. Let's bring love back into the equation here, because it went bye-bye a while ago. Let's bring it back. But anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.